Let's hope so. So let's start talking about today's topic. The title of today is Industrial Design Engineering. And before, I'm fine, thanks, Amit. I'm fine, thank you. And before I started this live and I decided to confirm this topic for today, I told myself, I have an idea what it means, industrial design engineering, according to my experience. But I said, let me go and check. Let me go and verify that what I have in mind, it's correct. Because things change, when I went to university to do transportation design, we really did not have industrial design engineering in English or in America. You had industrial design, but which was for designers that wanted to design products, okay? Then you have product design, that is basically the same thing, In Europe, we say more industrial design. In America, they say more product design, but it's exactly the same thing. Then we have car designer, and then many years later, because of new technologies, we had the UX UI design, ergonomy design, and then the new job role as a design engineer or engineer designer. So that thing was a little bit tricky, and this thing first of all, I think, in India, in some engineering universities that understood that they had to do something more about design, and because they're not really teaching design, then they triggered this word, the magic word design, into their course title to make probably them more appealing, but also probably to describe a little bit better what they were intended to do in their program, which means more design thinking, design process thinking in becoming an engineer. Ciao Devajit, how are you? Good evening to you. And so when we read all that, and when you guys are so young, you read that because you are searching for the university to be a designer, to become a designer, whether product or car design, then you look at that design engineering and you think that's the best way to design. That's the best way to learn how to design. And therefore you say, well, this is a solid university, engineering university, they also teach design, then that's the best option I can get to have the highest grade, the highest diploma, and with as a designer. But in reality, ciao Rajat, welcome back. But in reality, it is not the case, because if you go and look for on Google about industrial design engineering or industrial designer engineer, you will discover that the definition is more like an engineer that has to learn how to use his head, is thinking in a more open way, in a more creative way, in order to solve problems. And those problems are engineering problems, whether they are structural problems, whether they are electronics problems, electronic engineering, for example, electronics, or whether they are, physics problems. It is a way to explain that the engineer, the modern engineer, it's not anymore the engineer we know, some of my old colleagues, they're my same age, which means you go to engineering, you do your 5 years, you get your diploma, your bachelor, and then you are an engineer. In Germany, they are called professors, engineer, because they have a bachelor, and you propose solutions that are very well known because they are very solid. But that was the way they used to learn, and there are a lot of universities that still teach that way. So basically, We don't want you to be too creative. We just want you to learn really well, which is the basics of engineering, okay? Whether it's structure, electronics, I don't know, metal, whatever, okay? Or any other material. And then we want you to learn the technologies and the solutions that are applied until today and the new technologies to come, because this way you have all the cards, all the technical solutions that you can combine to solve a problem. And when we talk about solve a problem, is the car is too big or is too heavy, or the product needs to open in a different way, so how you decide where you put the cut line and stuff. So this is an engineering approach. Since design became very, very important, because everybody says, design is the number one selling factor for a successful product or a successful car. Basically, it is an emotional thing and it's an artistic thing. So if I am somebody, normal people on the road, okay, I look at a car and I like it, I am more intention to buy it because I really like it. So I go and get information. How much does it cost? Is it too expensive? Ciao, Mr. Rai. Sudhanshu. Ciao. Welcome back from India. Thank you for being here with us. Hey guys, don't forget to put the likes, because this channel needs your likes. We are growing, but we can grow a lot faster. So likes, and if you're new, of course, subscribe. It's free. If you want to become a member, then hit the button join membership and you'll discover. Okay. Ciao Feti, how are you? Welcome back. So now let's go back to the topic. So basically, design is influencing a lot how a product looks and how this product will perform in terms of marketing. And everybody agrees that design is extremely important to transform, to make very sexy, very appealing, very attractive all the technical solutions that are under, the dress, the design dress that makes of that the product or that car something really, really good, like good product. So the question is, how do we have our future generations of engineers that learn how to interact with designers in a more constructive way? And I think, and that's my feeling, university now are starting to use the word design engineering or industrial design engineer to give a different approach, methodology, so that those engineers also start using a little bit more their creativity, and they are not so blocked into their schematic way of being an engineer, which is something that is lasting since 50 years. So when you guys ask me, can I become a car designer if I go to this university because there is this car design engineering program, my answer is still no, because they form engineers, and probably engineers that will that will study during their years at university a lot of problem solving tied to the car business, the automotive business. Instead, if you want to become a car designer, you want to become a product designer or an industrial designer, or any type of designer, but just designer, okay, you need to find an industrial design school, college, university, in which you can find every design department you're looking for, including car design, that many times is called transportation design. Now, there are also in transportation design some university that changed the game a little bit, for example, there is a university here in France that made a new program called Sustainable Design, or Automotive Sustainable Design. And they do that because they teach you how to be a car designer, but they put the accent on a sustainable world, which means, we have to design cars, but not the way we did it until today. But we have to do it for the future, for a greener world, safer world, without pollution. So that's why that course is called Sustainable Car Design. Now, there are others that they just do transportation design, which means very large. You can do car sketches, you can do car projects, you can do truck projects, you can do train or buses projects. You can also do boat design or aviation design, So those schools in general, they give you those type of projects at the first year, because they want to understand, they want you to understand which is really the field that you like the most, or for which you feel more prepared, you have more passion. For example, I have a friend that started as a car designer in school, and then he discovered that he really liked to draw and design boats and big yachts, So he chose then yacht design and boat design, and that's what he did. And today he's still working in that business. He's very, very happy. Sometimes it happens that we are not 100% sure what we want to do. So the first year of any university, of any program, it's more general, Therefore, you have the time to learn several type of fields a little bit. And then you say, you know what, I like more this one than the other one. And then nobody, is stopping you to change your idea and get the other field. Rajat wrote a comment. Let's see. Is it better to do industrial design bachelor and transportation design master to understand better? No. If you want to be a car designer, it is better to do simply a bachelor in transportation design. You don't need product design and then transportation, for a very simple reason. Transportation design, it's the more complicated design discipline or field today. To design cars, interiors and exteriors, it's much more complex than a product. Already its design process, it's longer, because there are lots of extra activities. Product design runs on shorter, design process, which means everything is short, maybe 3 weeks or 1 month to do the idea, concept, and then you go straight into modeling. In car design, it's not like that. You have 6 months, 5 months of ideas, modeling, before you start narrowing down to one picked solution. Industrial design is an excellent field for who wants to become a product designer. And another thing very important is that when you are a product designer, it's not very important 100% that you sketch freehand really well, because industrial designer in general have to do with shapes, volumes, proportions that are a little bit, I would say, different than cars. Okay, let's say less complex, less complicated, so a little bit easier. And then once you learn how to put a little bit of color, what they do, they go directly on computer to do their 3D model. In car design, no. In car design, it's extremely important you really know how to draw cars really well. Therefore, you need at least 3 years to exercise. And that's why the bachelor is more important than the master. And that's why it's more important to do a bachelor in transportation design, because you will have those 3 years to draw well, to learn, to experiment. The problem in product design is that at school, that sketching, rendering step, it's much shorter, because then we go right away to make mock-up models with soft foam, and then hard foam, and then real models, but they are done with small models. A car is a big thing, And if you do a a fifth scale or a fourth scale of your car model in clay, it's gonna take you 4 months, 3 months to do the project. In product design, you can do that in a month and a half. And you won't use clay. You will use probably, I don't know, resin, wood, metal, plastic. So it's very different. So, Rajat, when you ask me, my best advice is you need transportation design 3 years. Then if you want to do another year of master, okay, but if your portfolio is already good enough to get a job after 3 years, you do not need a master. It's very rare that I have colleagues from car design schools that went through a master. I don't have any in the studio where I work. There are in Renault where I work, but there are few. A lot, almost all of us, I would say 90%, we just did the bachelor. All right. So keep this in mind because there is still a lot of confusion. I don't want you to be confused. It's like the topic, today's topic. Industrial design engineer, I'll be a designer. No, you're gonna be an engineer. An engineer to who the teacher will ask us, please try to find different alternative solutions. Petty, I studied industrial design, junior class. I know I cannot be car designer after I graduate, but sketching car inspired me a lot. Yeah, Petty, that's fine because you have to know that I have a friend that today is an important boss of an American product design company, but he was a car designer for 10 years before he switched back to product. And he was very, very good. He used to do interior design, not exterior. But the guy was like, he was sketching like hell. I mean, this guy was incredible, American guy. If you have the passion for both, you can do both because you will be able to draw both. The problem is that when you have a passion for car design, instead of doing car design bachelor, you go for product, you are taking away from you the opportunity to exercise for 3 years car design. And I think that makes sense. Mr. Wright, being an industrial design myself, I get only 2-3 days to ideate sketch on concept. Exactly. Very short as clients give only a few days to sketch. Exactly. In car design, we cannot do a sketch or design a concept in 3 days. I have several projects currently. I have one that we started 4 months ago. We did several reviews. Yeah, we are still in sketching, Photoshop, freehand, Photoshop, this type of stage, okay, of sketching stage, ideation. Well, you won't believe me if I tell you that next week, in a couple of weeks, we present again modifications onto the front face, back side, sideway. Why? Because car design is complicated. You cannot do in 3 days. Amit, how about someone did automobile engineering and then did massive transportation design? Thank you, Amit, because I will talk about it. Right after I finish, I will. So, you understand, as I said before, the design processes between industrial design, product and car design are different. Industrial design is very short, very compressed. Transportation design today is compressed, but it's still very long compared to product design. In a way, I can tell you that we work to put a project in production from first day until production day, 3 years, 3.5, depends on the project. But we, for at least 8 months, 9 months, we are in the creative phase before we crash, the final model that will still get some modifications before the industrial process will start, which means that the design is frozen and we stop it. So there is a big, huge difference. Now, the question that Amit just asked, what about if I do automobile engineering and then I do a master in design? Okay, let's suppose this. Amit, let's suppose that you go to automobile engineering and for 3 years or 4 years, I don't know how many years, but let's say 3 years, you will be studying engineering. Now, it's very, very difficult, very, very hard, almost very rare that your teachers will ask you to draw cars. They will ask you to solve problems. They will ask you to read lots of books, to learn, and to do very heavy duty exams, because to be an engineer, it's serious. It's really serious. It's like being a doctor. You have to learn how to calculate, you have to learn a lot of things. Therefore, during those 3 years, you will be the best engineer and of that school. And when you will get your bachelor, you will be recognized as the best student of that university. You will be very happy. Your father, your mother, everybody will be happy. You first. So you get your bachelor, and then you say, now I'm an engineer. I have a strong passion for car design. Now I know how we build cars. Now I go to a master. I learn for car design, and therefore I can be a car designer with a very strong, solid engineering background. Okay? Because that's, I imagine, that's what you're thinking. Well, it doesn't work really. For a very simple reason. Because when you go to a master, the master will take you. That's no problem. You're going to pay. They will take you. But when you do a master is a program of 1 year or 2 years maxi, during which they will try to put you in a realistic situation of making projects, but not engineering projects, car design projects, which means that you should already have a background in understanding a little bit what it means for a project, what it means an ideation, what it means a design process, what are the main phases of making a concept, what it means to work on a model, stuff like that. So what happens is that they will push you into that scenario, and then you have to sketch, because that's how you will start. And when you will sketch, you will have some difficulties, because you didn't sketch for the past 3 years, because you are doing engineering. Of course, you have to do engineering. And even if you sketch on your own, and you did not come to my online course, so you did not learn from me, you are on your own, you do little sketches, you see my videos or my friends' videos, you put the marker the same, and you think, well, you know what, I got it, that's how it is. It's not like that, it's a lot more. So when you go to master, you will be in a class where you will have some industrial designers who will sketch much better than you, and probably they have a strong talent and strong passion for cars, and for them will be easier to learn. You will be with other engineers like you, and therefore the level of competition, it will not be probably very, very high. Okay? So you don't have a real reference to look at and say, I have to do better than this guy or this girl. So basically, at the end, you will make your projects, your portfolio, your presentation, everything you want. But the problem is that the quality level of your sketches, of your renderings, of your presentation, of your model, and most of all, your design, okay, the design that you created, this probably will not be at the same level, okay, will not be at the same level of the students that next door are graduating after 3 years of bachelor in car design. So what's going to happen? You will have Students that will have the age of 23 years old, 24, 25. And they will come with a very good portfolio, strong portfolio, ready to go for work. And you will be there at the age of 25, 27, or 28, okay? Which means you will be older than them, with a different type of creativity and with not much exercise. Because you don't have other 3 years, you have only one. So now, when I say all this, I mean, you understand that even if you get a very high grade, and that will give you a nice bachelor or whatever, you will discover that you are missing something. Your portfolio is missing something. You spend probably 15,000, 20,000 euros, or even double, depends on the school. And then you say, people don't take me. Why? I did everything I needed to do. Well, you didn't do everything you needed to do. You should have gone first in bachelor for transportation design. Because if you want to be a designer, yeah, that's what you have to do. If I want to be a car designer, I don't go to architecture in Italy. Forget it, that was the past. In the 1980s, people did not trust car design school. I was like a very strange guy that was going to America to do car design university. People said, but what the hell is doing up there? I mean, here we have a great university in architecture, but it doesn't work. The architect is an architect. The engineering is an engineer, and car designers study car design. So this is a little bit my answer, Amit. I hope that I did not deceive you, but most importantly, I hope that I gave you some information that I am sure can be very useful to you and maybe to your parents, because I understand that there might be a problem between you, your parents, what your parents want for you, and what you would like to do, and sometimes those two things don't match. And I know that in India it's more complicated than here in Europe. I know that. But most important thing you can do, you ask your parents to watch this video. I'm 6 years old. I'm not a young kid, so I know what I'm talking about. Maybe they can listen to me. Maybe they will say that I say bullshit, okay? But at least they saw, they listen to, and maybe they think. Okay, there is a new message from Mr. Rai. My boss has worked for Honda and Dilip Shamria. Yeah, Dilip Shamria was at Art Center many years ago. Okay, Amit, great, thank you. My boss, okay, so as an automotive designer for 9 years, he knows how exactly curves and surfaces should flow in automotive products. Yes, and you know, Rai, you know that on a small product, it's very difficult to get the same type of design approach or same type of emotional design, you know. So the size also makes a big difference, you know, because when you have a big size, of course you have more space to do things. You have a very tiny space. For example, this is the cap of my camera in front of me, you see. I put it like this on the camera and then I close the camera. You see? That's very clever, very nice design, but very geometrical. This is an engineering design. You see? Very nice. It's not bad, huh? But this is something that an engineer would do. If a car designer would do this, or a modern, let's say, product design, it would have been different. Would have a different type of touch where you put the finger, when you do the clap here, you know, maybe that would have been considered different. This is very geometrical. This is straight down to business, you know. Maybe we would thought something integrated to the camera, you know, something that can slide. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so when products are small, you know, you have a different type. You have to work a lot with materials. the feeling of materials, the feeling of touching, the colors, the graphics. But when we do a car is a big sculpture, you know, like a sculpture, like an artist. An artist is there to make this big sculpture, you know. So that's how it is, and it's not easy to control. When you have a 5 meter car or 4 meter car, and on the side you have a line that has to do several things with the shapes that are meeting, to control that on a model, on a clay model, it's not easy. You have to do a lots of exercise. You need experience, you know. But when you do the experiment in school on clay models, put in your team, even if the clay model is small, and you have 3, 4 projects, 5 projects during the 3 years, so that means that you make 4 or 5 models. You learn. You get at the end that when you go and work, and you are in front of a clay model for the first time, if you want to make a correction, you want to ask the correction on that side, you can do it. Because you already did 4 models, 5 models in school. I arrived in Fiat in 1989. And I arrived at the art center after 4 clay models in quarter scale. The first 3 were in fifth scale, so a little smaller. The last one was quarter scale. Then I made also an interior model with a teamwork project. And we were working on the interior. Door panels, car seats, dashboard, center console, everything. So I had that type of experience too. Then I did 4 products in models. I sketched and then I made the models. Plexiglass, plastic, vacuum form, fiberglass, you know. We went through that process. We painted. So when I got to Fiat, and they told me, you have to make your scale model of your first proposal. But for me it was easy. I knew what to do. And I started right away. My colleagues that were coming from architecture, that were very passionate, that they were good in sketching cars, interior stuff, you know, with a pencil. When they were confronted with making the model, making the modification and everything, they were not able to do it. They didn't know how to do, what to do, how to start. So they went through a project that it was like 6 months, 7 months long before they got the hang, before they understood. It was a sort of accelerated process to teach them what a car designer does. You understand? I mean, but the main problem is that I am late to your class, and I already did all those things which you instructed not to do, and I am 26 years old, okay? 26 years old, okay. So, Amit, you are already in engineering. How many years do you have to study? Or did you finish already? Let me know. Let me know. I'll give you an advice about your situation, your current situation, because I don't remember everything. Sorry. So, you guys, it's 9 minutes to 7 o'clock p.m. here in France. I go and drink a little bit of water, okay? If you want to leave me a tip, you have all those buttons, super chat, super sticker, whatever. You can offer me a coffee or beer or a pizza, whatever you want. It would be nice. And if not, just put a like so that we can push this video the best we can. I'll be back in 20 seconds, okay? And prepare your questions. So when I come back, I check your questions, all right? Okay, here I am. I'm back. My engineer was for 4 years and 2 years in masters. Okay, Ame, this means that if you go to master, 2 years master where? In Italy, I guess, 2 years. And at which age you will finish your masters when you get your diploma, your master? At which age? 28, 29, 30 years old? That's something I must know. Come on, guys, any question? Now we are 11, not bad. Mr. Rai, my boss actually brings a lot of curves into products, which makes them more appealing. That's good. And he was talking curve acceleration and tape drawings, which car design used to use to perfect the flow. Yes, it's true. It's exactly what we do with the tape drawing in scale or full scale. I already completed my master this year. Ah, okay. So you finished at 26. Then that's very good, Ahmed. Your age is okay. That's very good. You are not penalized by your age. No, the only thing is your portfolio. Because if you have a very good portfolio, just give it a shot. Try to get a job as a car designer. All right. You should probably show me your portfolio so that I can check it out. And we will see. I can tell you whether you need to do something or if it's okay the way it is. I mean, that's the best I can do for you. Okay, so let's say that we had a very nice and interesting topic today, okay? And I think that the weekend can start for everybody, all right? Okay, so I mean, if you want to send me a portfolio on my email, okay? If you guys would like to use the offer of having a 10% discount on my ebook, on one of my ebooks, write to me via email and I will give you my ebook with a 10% discount, which means it will cost around 13 euros and not 15. Okay, I write here my email because we'll do this via email. Here you have my email. All those you said about bachelor versus master and that sketching thing is true, and it's pushing me toward the 3D modeling as I am good at Alias and Blender. Well, that's a very good alternative, Amit. That's a very good alternative because there is a lot of requests in Alias modeling, Blender, and all that stuff for designers, not engineering, not CATIA. Don't think about CATIA, all that stuff. We are talking about Alias modeling, Blender, renderings, all that stuff. Filmmaking from out of virtual models, those things, there is a very high request. Okay, good. Send it to me once it's complete. You have my email there. Dear friends, thank you very much. I hope you're going to have a very good weekend. We will meet again next week at the same time here. And don't forget that there is a new video on sketching wheels that I just published yesterday. So if you go on my channel, this channel, you will find the video just in case you would like to check which type of lesson I made in video as a video tutorial about wheels, okay? You're welcome. Ciao Francisco, ¿cómo estás? De nada. Ciao a todos. Ciao. Bye bye, grazie. Ciao.